Democrats have ran away and stayed silent on too many issues for far too long. We fear that an issue might be unpopular. Take, for example, immigration. Worrying that our position was not the one that would be accepted by the country broadly, we let Donald Trump dominate the conversation. When he never wanted to solve the issue, he just wanted to fearmonger. That was a mistake. We have to be bold in our ideas, and we have to be open to convincing people that Republicans are wrong, even when it may seem like they are more popular on an issue. And a perfect example of that, when we actually saw someone's mind change, happened just yesterday in Wisconsin. A town council had a meeting talking about trans issues, and a Donald Trump supporter had their mind changed. It was an incredible moment that I cannot wait to show you. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really does mean a lot to me. Now, before we can get into the clip of this Trump supporter having his mind changed, first, unfortunately, we have to hear the argument that Donald Trump is presenting.
And I saw this morning where one of them is pretty well known, one is arguing, fighting like crazy over men being able to play in women's sports. I said, I thought that was tried. I thought that was about a 95%, I think it's a 95% issue. But in a way, I want them to keep doing it because I don't think they can win a race. And I tell the Republicans, I said, don't bring that subject up because there's no election right now. But about a week before the election, bring it up because you can't lose.
So that is Donald Trump's openly transphobic position, that he is going to attack a very small group of marginalized people, especially kids in schools who just want to play sports with their friends to try to win elections. But I don't think it's going to work. Sure, Donald Trump spent $100 million trying to make this an issue in the past election, right? And Republicans have railed against not only trans kids, but the only trans member of Congress, Congresswoman Sarah McBride, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But we have to be able to push back against this. Democrats should not run away, not just because it's bad politics. We're on the right side of this issue. Trans rights are human rights, and if we are not advocating on behalf of them, we are failing to live up to progressive ideas, especially when we can change people's minds on this. Most of what folks hear is just fear-mongering and lies. So when we present a real argument, we can make real change. And that happened at this town hall meeting. And before we get to the MAGA Republican having his mind changed, I want to hear the argument that did it.
Dear trans kids, there are so many of us in this state who love you exactly as you are and exactly as you are becoming. We know your health care is medically necessary because we know you are necessary. Treatment for gender dysphoria is medically necessary because when your gender dysphoria is treated, you experience less psychological distress and your mental health drastically improves with rates of depression, anxiety, and suicidality going down significantly. Providing you with high-quality health care is how we ensure you thrive and make it possible for you to live in a body that feels like home. This state is a better place because you are in it and because you have the opportunity to thrive. Your journey is your own, and your medical care is designed to honor it as you move towards thriving. Your doctors tailor your highly individualized care to your needs, just as all doctors do to treat every type of medical condition. There is no one-size-fits-all approach for anything in medicine, including healthcare for trans youth, and that is precisely why a ban on medically necessary individualized healthcare is so dangerous. Speaking to your parents and families for a moment, you are all on a journey too. Thank you for being on it, for loving your kid, for wanting the best for them. You've been to the doctor's appointments. You know that your kid will be able to access different age-appropriate interventions as they grow up. And I know you just want them to grow up into happy, healthy adults. You love them at all ages, so you want their care to be the best it can be at every age. You trust your doctors. They know the standards of care that have been rigorously researched and well established by international experts and supported by every professional medical association in our country and beyond. You respect the science because you respect your kids' needs. I am not trans, and I also know that I do not need to understand every detail and nuance of a kid's identity to believe you when you say you know who you are and you know what you need. You are being perpetually put in a position of having to defend your own existence and the value of your own lives. You deserve better. I respect your right to the freedom to live the way as you want to live. I hope this committee and this legislature can too. Love, Abby, and so many others, many of whom are here in this room or were at some point.
It is our job as liberals to advocate on behalf of marginalized groups. It's not just about winning elections. It's about what is right. But when we communicate what is right, we do it authentically, and we let people know that we're not afraid to do so, we can change their minds. We can win their votes. But we just have to be unafraid. And clearly, it works when you do. Take a listen to this right here.
So, all right, Larry, the floor is yours. You got 2 minutes.
First of all, I'd like to apologize to you people. I was invited here to give my support for Bill 401. I have very little knowledge of gay people and things like that there. So when I came here, my eyes were open. I was one of the critics that sat on the side and made the decisions there was only 2 genders. So I got an education that was unbelievable. And I don't know just exactly how to say this, but my perspective for people have changed. So I don't want to take up no more of your time. I'd like to apologize for being here, and I learned a very lot about this group of people.
All right.
Now, if that doesn't get you hopeful and fired up, I don't know what will. That was a man who said, I was wrong. I had just heard lies. I had heard all this fear-mongering from Donald Trump. And now I have my mind changed. I heard 2 minutes of an argument. I heard a couple of people speak on defending human rights for kids to be able to play with their friends, to not be attacked by our government, to not be treated differently, to be accepted in their schools and in their communities. And he had his mind changed. We need to be advocating on behalf of everyone. This is not some politically unpopular killer issue that's the Democrats are way too focused on. No, that's the argument MAGA wants to present. The argument we should present is that MAGA is, in fact, too focused on trans issues. They're focused on demonizing people for simply existing in the world. And that's weird. Republicans want to check kids' pants before they play soccer? Really? That's weird. Supporting basic human rights? That's right. It's their obsession, not ours. And Sarah McBride, who has experience with MAGA's exception, pointed out their lies right here.
We will not take a lecture on decorum from a party that incited an insurrection. I appear to live rent-free in the minds of some of my Republican colleagues. I wish that they would spend even a fraction of the time that they spend thinking about me, thinking about how to lower the costs for American families. I wish they would spend a fraction of the time that they spend thinking about me, figuring out how to make government actually work better, rather than making it work worse in order to prove that government can't work. They are obsessed with culture war issues. The Republican Party is obsessed with culture war issues. It is weird and it is bizarre. And the American people deserve serious legislators, serious elected officials who are focused on bringing people together to deliver real results for the American people, not to play games and not to engage in schoolyard taunts.
It is MAGA who will always be focused on everything but actually helping you. These culture war issues are simply to distract, to enrage, and to separate us so that we're not focused on the fact that Donald Trump is cutting $800 billion out of Medicaid, that he's coming for Social Security next so he can give Elon Musk the biggest tax cut we've ever seen. So let's make sure people know the only reason Donald Trump is talking about this is 1, because he likes to lie, 2, because he likes to fearmonger, and 3, because he wants to distract you. Trans people are not taking a $5 trillion tax cut. Trans kids wanting to play sports with their friends are not the reason that the stock market is crashing. It is Donald Trump, and it is his MAGA majority in Congress. I'm sure they like to push a lot of transphobic lies. They also want to push a lot of lies about the budget, which Bernie Sanders called out right here.
I just voted no on this terrible continuing resolution written by right-wing Republicans in the House with no input from anybody but themselves. This bill moves our country toward authoritarianism by usurping Congress's constitutional responsibility to determine how federal funds are spent, and creates at the same time a slush fund for Elon Musk and Donald Trump to continue their war against the working families of our country. This bill puts more and more power into the hands of the White House. At a time when 60% of our people are living paycheck to paycheck and millions are struggling to keep their heads above water, this bill makes massive cuts to housing, health care, and nutrition, jeopardizes the functioning of the Social Security Administration, and continues the Trump administration's attack against veterans and the Veterans Administration. This bill will make the rich richer and the poor poorer. In order to pass this legislation, the Republicans needed 60 votes, which meant that they had to have 7 votes from Democrats, and they got them. Actually, they got 10 votes. That is sad. That is an absolute dereliction of duty on the part of the Democratic leadership. Nobody in this Senate should have voted for this dangerous bill. In America today, as all of you know, we face an unprecedented set of crises. We are moving rapidly toward an oligarchic form of society where Elon Musk and other billionaires are running the government. We are moving rapidly toward authoritarianism, where Trump is ignoring the Constitution and the separation of powers. We are moving rapidly toward a massive Republican bill, a reconciliation bill, that will cut Medicaid and other programs desperately needed by working families in order to provide the 1% with over $1 trillion in tax breaks.
Let's push back. Seriously, y'all. Let's fight back. I think if we learned one lesson from the past couple of months, this is when you're honest with people, things are all going to work a little bit better. Just be honest. Be honest about these attacks. Be honest about your position. Be honest about your willingness to defend basic human rights. Someone might not agree with you, but at least they'll agree that you're being real with them. And then we can change their mind. It is possible. You just saw it. And we're going to work to change minds every single day on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.